Hello everyone, good morning from here. Ike Felim here for another great video in the Ike Felim Adventure series. So this morning I saw ripe bananas right behind me from this tree, and I said okay, it will be good to share how I harvest bananas. How to harvest bananas is what we are discussing today, and how to identify that the bananas are ripe before you harvest them. And the more they are ripe on the tree, the sweeter their taste. So it's actually best to leave them to get to that point where they start to get ripe before you harvest them. So I have a very good example here today, and I'll be showing you guys how it is done, the harvesting, and how you identify that the bananas are ready to be harvested. Okay, so quickly let me show you the bananas. Okay, now this is the banana bunch. Okay, so right here you can see this is ripe, getting ripe. Officially, when you see any one of the bananas turning yellow from the bunch, it means that the whole bunch is actually ready to be harvested. Yeah, so this trunk now can be cut off, and in few days they all start to get yellow. They all start to get yellow because they are mature to be harvested. Okay, now another sign you check out for to be sure that your bananas are ready to be harvested, you check this. You see this black stuff here? When you start to touch them and they snap out easily, like this. When they snap out easily, they are mature. You touch them and they snap, like this, you see? They are mature, they are ready to be harvested. But the best sign to check out for are change in colors. When you see them turning to yellow, this bunch is ready. So this is a dwarf banana plant. The whole plant is about 4 feet from the ground, and this bunch is almost touching the ground. It's about 2 feet away from the floor of the garden, about 2 feet. So I'm going to show you how I cut this off, because it's really heavy. It's very heavy. So I'm going to show you shortly how I'll cut this off, and that way, and how I'll leave the mother plant so it can support the young ones, the sucklings coming up, as manure for them. And it's a great process altogether. So bananas are very good health wise. You really need to, if you have a garden and you can have bananas, yes, add them. They are very good. They are very good. They are loaded with nutrients good for your body, help to boost your immune system with lots of minerals. So I have them in my garden and I enjoy them all the time. So enough said. I'm going to show you how to cut the bananas off, and how we get the fingers off the bunch. It's an interesting process, from planting to maturity to fruition to harvest, then to eating, of course, and enjoying your bananas. So stay with me, okay, as we harvest this banana behind me. Yes, we're back, and see what I have in my hands. A knife. With this, I'll be harvesting the banana. I'll be needing both of my hands, so I'm just going to find a way to explain what I want to do, so I can drop the camera and harvest it and show you guys. Okay, I don't think I'll be able to be videoing and harvesting at the same time. I only have 2 hands. Alright, so this is what I have to do, and this is how I think it is the right way to harvest bananas. Come over here. Now this is the ripe bananas, the ripe trunk, the banana bunch. As you can see, it's getting ripe. Some other ones are getting ripe over here. This one is getting really ripe. Okay, now we need to cut this off. I'll be putting my hand, I'll be holding somewhere here. I'll grab it like this, give it a good grip. Then I'll now put the knife somewhere up here and cut it off. So I'll be holding this part because it's quite heavy. Then while I cut the upper part, that will separate the bunch from the tree, and I'll be holding it very well so it doesn't drop to the ground and mess up some of the bananas down here. Okay, but this plant is actually the dwarf banana plant. It's not tall, so it's just about 2 feet from the ground. That still can destroy some of the bananas down here because they are really getting ripe. So I'll take precautions to hold this place very well while I cut somewhere here. Okay, so I'll drop the camera now because I need both of my hands to do this properly. I was able to set up the camera and have a good view, so I can use both hands for this process. Okay, so I have my knife here. Like I explained, I'll need to get a good grip somewhere here. Make sure I'm holding it very well while I cut the upper part. So let's just do that quickly. Okay, so this is quite interesting. I'm harvesting bananas the right way. Okay, you put the knife somewhere here and you cut. Yes, wow, it's very, very heavy. Wow, just harvested. Oops, the water is getting up some liquid, some water is coming up from it. Wow, it's really heavy, very heavy. I need to grab it with 2 hands and hold it tight. We just harvested fresh, ripe bananas. As you can see this? Getting ripe. Oops, it got so much fluid in there from the point we cut it. So much liquid coming out from that point. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do now is debunch it. Yeah, debunch. I hope there's an English language like that. We have to cut off these fingers, separate it from this, and keep them. In the next 2 days or 3 days, they'll all be yellow, golden yellow, beautiful. Wow, this thing is heavy. Should be weighing about 10 kg. I think more than 10 kg. It's really, really heavy. Really, really heavy. Okay, so we're here with a knife. Now we just make a cut somewhere here. That way it's easy for us to pull it off. It's really not easy using one hand to hold the camera and another hand to do the stuff, so just bear with me, guys. Yeah, this one is off. This is out. This is out. That's the spot right there. So we'll flip it, flip the bunch. We come to this other part and do the same thing. That's how we're going to debunch all these fingers from this trunk. I've been able to separate the, should I call them hands? The hands from the bunch, and this is whatever that carries them, or you understand, they're all connected to this trunk right here. I've been able to detach them. I used a knife. So we have many hands from the same bunch. Okay. Yeah. Wow. It's much. So we're gonna be having a lot of bananas to eat this season. Okay. So these bananas, I did not use any form of fertilizers for them. They just grow naturally to maturity and they fruit. They are very, very chemical free. No chemical fertilizers or whatever. I think, and the soil where they are growing in my garden is rich, so they quite grow well and fruit well. Now I'm just going to show you what I do after harvesting. Okay, what I do to the tree, to the banana tree after harvesting. So let's just go back to the garden. Okay, so this is the tree, and this is the point where I cut the bunch off from this tree. So what I do is this. If you look carefully, you see it has young bananas, young sucklings coming up. Here's one, all coming up from the base, and this is the mother plant which we just harvested. This is the mother plant which we just harvested the banana from. So what I do is that I'm going to cut off all these leaves at the upper part. I cut down this trunk somewhere here. I cut it down somewhere here, and I leave the remaining parts into the ground. I just leave it there to rot, because it's going to be serving as food for the young ones growing at the side. To allow these younger ones breathe and get enough sunlight, I'll cut off this upper part. I'll remove all these leaves and cut off this upper part and cut it off at the trunk somewhere here. Then leave the stump into the ground and let it rot and provide more natural manure for the young ones coming up beside it, around the base. Okay, so I thought I should just share that and add that to this video. So thank you so very much for watching. Please do not fail to hit the like button, subscribe, and leave comments, and I'll respond.